So that is it. So here now, this is the calculator form we prepare now here. So the next thing now is to write what? Our JavaScript functionality that I'm going to allow to perform the calculation now. We already specify the, yeah? Okay. I can see. Okay. It's coming out now. Sorry. Okay. You can see it now. Okay, so yeah, thank you. So the next thing we want to look at now as well is how we are going to now implement the JavaScript code on this form. You already create when you go to input the first number, maybe I call it what 32, second number I call it what 17. So once I click on this plus, I want system to calculate the two and store the result here for us. That is it. So since our JavaScript code is already defined that we are going to create a JavaScript function called calculator here, we are going to create another JavaScript file called calculator. And again, once we click on this particular button we have on this form here, the button here, I call it get word plus. You have to create the get plus inside that word JavaScript so that I can write the code there. So I can open that calculator here and declare the function get plus here by say function get, okay, function get plus, no, function get plus. Please, this is case sensitive. Since I use capital P for plus, it must be maintained here now. Within this get plus, we are now going to declare the variable that's going to hold the value that is coming from this form. The form is going to send 32 and 17. That is any two variable. The variable that I'm going to hold both of them, I have to declare them in JavaScript. So here I can now say var1, var num1 here, we hold the first variable, while I can declare them together by saying var num1 comma what num2. Both of them is going to hold the variable that is coming. While num3 we hold the result. I can call this one result2 because I want to use the variable called result again. So here now, to accept the first value, I will say num1 equal to what? Document the way we get the value before, dot get what? Element by ID. Then I will now specify the element. The element you want to take is a what? In this text box here now, when you say enter one, the element that go to pass the value I type is text box, which is input type text here, and it's called number one, while it's called number two. So therefore, in my calculator, I will call the element number one. You get now, and I will say what? Dot value. You get it now? Okay, sorry, dot value. That is it here now. So that means whatever information you put in HTML will be stored in num1. So I'll do the same thing for what? For num2 here now. This will now be num2 variable here and the element which is num2. So once both of them is already stored, I can now use say result equal to what? Num1 plus what? Num2 here now. To num2 here. That is all. So you can see. So just the way we did in the variable here now, I want the result to be stored inside the output. I can copy this code there now. I'll now specify that particular one. Document.getElement by ID output equal to now result. That is, can you see now? Because this result of this, I want it to appear inside this word element called output. That's it. So once I save this calculator.js, I will now refresh this my HTML page here. Let me try it. I say 11 plus what? 13 here now. Once I click on the plus here, result should be here. Oh, instead of this one to give us 24, system is joining them together. Good. The reason for this type of this error is called logic error. A logic error is when you carry out the calculation and your result is not giving you what you expect. that means you have a logic error. It means there's something wrong with the logic we use here. Because the reason why is that what? The plus we use here is to add the two numbers together. But that means the value we input actually it is appearing as a number here, but it's not a number. That means it's a string. Because this input type test, remember we called it a test. So that is why system is still seeing it as well as a test. You see it's input type test. That means what to put there is a test. So if something is a test, to perform calculation on the test, system go to joining them together by concatenating them. And that's why the result of concatenation is appearing here. So what we do in JavaScript is that what? If we are entering the number inside the what? The test, we are going to do what? To convert it to what? Actual number before you can do the calculation. So there are many ways we can do it. I can now come down to this variable here and convert it to number. Then I use a JavaScript function called what? ParseInt. ParseInt means convert this num1 that is coming from input type text to actual number. And I'm going to apply the same thing to what? To 2, which is going to be what? ParseInt again. And that means convert the second one too to number. So once we are converted to number, now add them together. I believe this one going to solve the problem now. So when I now click here, I will repeat this case again. 11 and now plus what? 13. When I click on the plus here, good, 24. See, that's it. So you must know how to use JavaScript to carry out the calculation. As I'm using this plus here, I can use any type of operator again. Let's say I want to use addition again now. But in that case, I'm going to reduce the size of this particular one, this button here. Do you get now? That means I need to work on the CSS to be able to work to change the size of the button here now. Because if you look at this button now, or the button they don't have any CSS, it's using the previous CSS now we already have. So if I come to the style here now, I will see the custom CSS. I think the custom CSS is what we have our button for this what we do here now. At the input type button, that is it. So input type button, where is the input type button? Label is here now. So instead of using all these CSS rule for the input type button, you get it now. I can create another CSS for all this again here. But it's going to be button too. You can need to reduce their width. So I'm going to create this one, call it calculator button now. Calculator button. So let me put this one here now. So I'm going to now start by saying what? Comment here to make sure this button is used for what? For the calculator. Say what? Calculator or button CSS. So I close the comment here. That's it. So what I'm going to do now is instead of call this one button, I'll give it a class. I say dot calculator btn. Good. Calculator btn. But this time around, the only thing I need to do is to reduce the width. You get it now? Is to reduce the width. So this width is 530. Let me say it's 100 now. See how it look like. You get it now? So I'll save this. I will now call this particular one. I will apply it to the button here now. So therefore, this is going to be this is the button. I can now say what? Class equal calculate button, and I save it. So let me say that button is going to be reduced. Oh, it's not reducing here. Okay. And where is the button? Did I call that custom CSS there? Custom is there. This is the custom CSS. And this calculator btn. So calculator btn, the width is to be reduced. Okay, Okay, let me make it a button inside. I cut it away from here now. I will now make it what? Internal CSS. So to make internal CSS here, I'll use style tag and relative equal style sheet, and after that I will now say type equal text slash CSS. Okay, that's it. I'll now put my CSS inside there now. So that's the internal CSS. So internal CSS supposed to override the what? The external CSS here. So let me return back here again. Something wrong with this. What is happening now? That's the two way we need to do this. So why? Calculate button. Okay, let me see if our ID will work. But ID is what I don't think should work now. Hash. So then I'm going to do hash calculate button, and again hash calculate what button. And here now is where we have for it to be ID calculate button, and I save it again. Finally we get it. So I can now add more button to work to this again now. Button for addition, subtraction, multiplication, maybe about four of those one. I return back here again. I say 2, 3, and 4 here now. So this is going to be for what? For subtraction. This will be for what? Multiplication. And this will be for modulus. Now I don't add division. So here I'm changing to what? To modulus. And there is going to be what? Multiply. Multiply. And this is going to be what? Subtract. So all this one, I'm going to create a function for them one by one. But let me save this and see how they work. Good, you can see all the button now. And I want their result to be here. So what I will now do now is it. Yes? Yes, of course. It's just a name. So I can come there and say, well, minus here now. You get now. So we have got the only thing that I'm going to create function called minus, function called get multiply, function called get modulus. So let me create those functions one by one. And that function is going to be inside the calculate JS, because the first one here is for what? Addition. So to create that function now is very simple. I can copy this first function I have here and pasted it. I will now call this one get what? Minus. And when I get minus, the only thing I need to change here is this to minus. Do you get it now? So the next one again, I put this one, go to be what? Get what? Multiply. Okay. And this is going to be what? Multiply again, as said it. And the last one again is going to be what? Get modulus. That's for modulus. That's for division. Division here, remainder. I'll put this one modulus here now. And then I save this JavaScript file. I'll save this too. That is it. You can want us to see the practical example of how each of this one can be used. So let's say now, the first value here I call it 15. And the second value here I call it what? 4. I want us to see what will be the result. Let's start with modulus first. If I divide 15 by 4, that means I'm going to see 3. Remainder is supposed to be 3. Because if you remove 12 from 15, that will be 3. So let me see what remainder will be. See. But if I multiply 4 by 15, that should give me 90. 60, sorry, you see. If I subtract 15, I subtract 4 from 15, that give me 11. And I had it 19. So these are the how each of these calculation can be done here using what a JavaScript, and I'll be able to perform this calculation because it is an operator. Do you get it now? Imagine when they give you something, I want you to try this one. They give you something like this interface. I want you to use something like this we do here now to now try and implement this one. Oh, to implement this one here now. I'm designing another one, the another paint here, that I'm going to have something like this form. So I'm going to call it what? Interest. How do we perform interest what? How do you calculate what is simple what interest here now? So that I can create a JavaScript for you. So you have for something like this form here now. You get now. And this form is going to contain the first information here. I'm going to call what? Maybe principal. Principal. You enter principal here. You now enter what? Time here now. This will be time. You create a form for it. You now enter year. This will be what? The year again. You now put it here again. Do you get it now? After you put it here, or extend this one now. Okay, I will extend it. So you now have a button here. I'm using green now. The button here is going to be what? Calculate what SI. This is going to be what? Calculate button. Calculate button. Do you get it now? So you now want the result to appear what? Down here now. Oh, sorry for that. Green, what you call this confusion. We want the result to appear under here, and that result now is going to call what? Maybe simple what? Simple interest. Now this is going to be simple what? Simple interest, and that simple interest will answer to appear here. Just the way what to do. The only difference is that what we use 2 in a calculator, but this is 3. So in this case again now, you can now put your value for what? Simple interest that here. Maybe I call it what? 5,000 or 50,000 now. Do you get now? That's the principal value. The rate here now, or time. Okay, the rate, this is a rate now. Oh, this is a rate. Here is the time. So the rate here, this will be what? The rate. Exactly. This will be the rate now. The rate is going to be by what? By maybe 2. And the year is going to be what? To be 5. Remember the formula. The formula we use to compute this one, which you are going to use, is going to be what? To be SI equal to what? Principal multiplied by what? By rate, and multiply by what exactly? By time now. Do you get it now? And all over what? 100. Exactly. This 100 is a slash because everything have here have the operator. Even though when I write it like this, I believe you're able to understand what it means. When I say SI equal to what? P what? R T. Over what? Over 100. So PRT here, multiplication. That is it. So I want you to try to design something like this so that I can see that at least you guys are able to understand the use of this particular arithmetical operator here. So that cover addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And use this particular simple form. You just need to add another word label and go to see what this is going to be enter principal, enter year, enter what time, and only one button is going to be here, and simple text is going to be here. That is it. So this is exactly what we use for operator to do in our JavaScript. You get it now? So apart from that again, another type of operator we have is what we call arithmetical assignment operator. This arithmetical assignment operator also perform arithmetical operation and assign the value to the variable at the left side of the operator. This operator working like a arithmetical operator, but the difference is that whatever the result you are going to compute here is going to assign to the same variable that contain the value. If you look at this implementation of this one here now, like here now, I have a new variables I have a what new variable to store the result of these two expression here. So these two expression now, if I'm going to implement them using arithmetical or assignment operator now, arithmetic assignment operator now, if I'm going to implement this, it means that what there's no need for me to use this particular num3. I don't need this particular num3 again. It means I want the result to store in the num2. Instead of 4, you are saying num1 like this. So what will be the result here? That's the first one. If I come down here now, I can also say, okay, modulus 4 here. Do you get it now? That is it. So you can write my arithmetical assignment operator like this. I can still come down here again and still perform this one. Say, well, num1, num2 plus num1. So I want to see what the operator is. Or it can be in another way like this again. Maybe this time around now, I can say num1 now equal to what? Num1, num2. So in this particular case, one can go to the word, whatever result of this divisible operation, system will store it. Let me say num1 now is 2 now. Whatever result of this operation, system go to store it in num2. If I say divide num2 by num1, that is, I should divide what? 8 by 2. Result is going to be in 2 because this operator is a short form. The clearer expression for it is going to be num2 equal to num2 divided by what? By num1. Can you see now? So it means that what? When I divide the num2 by num1, result will be stored in the num2. This one now confirm what we talk about the operator at the beginning of this class now. When I say operator modify the value stored in the variable, it means that what? The value I will initially store in the variable of num2, which is 8, the result of this particular operator here will be overwrite it. So in the num2 now, we are not going to see 8 again, we are going to see 4. The same thing for this. When I say num1, num2 here will now be modulus what? Modulus, okay, it will be num2 equal to what? Equal to num2 again, modulus what? Modulus 4 now. Can you see again? That means the result of the what? Modulus here is stored in num2. But if you see this third one again, it's still the same thing. It's going to be num1, num2 equal to what? Num2 plus what? Num1 now. That will still give the result in num2. But seeing the fourth one here, you see it's a little bit different. That is good. Because the variable on the left side is the variable that I'm going to hold the result. So this will now be what? Num1 equal to what? Num1, okay, let's say multiply by what? Num2 now. And I'm changing this one to what? Multiply, because I already used modulo before. You can see this one here. It means that what? Whatever addition of what? Of num1 and num2 we store in num1. Simply because num1 is the one that is on the left side. Oh, sorry. The arithmetic operator is going to have equal here, equal here, equal here, equal here, before this thing can be worked in this way. Are you getting it now? So this is a clearer example here. So for every arithmetical operator, it's going to be one. Division equal, modulus equal, addition equal, multiplication equal. Each of these one are referred to as one. Modulus arithmetical assignment operator, arithmetical assignment operator, like what we see here. So this one called arithmetical assignment operator. You get now. So this one can also be used for our expression in our JavaScript. So if I'm performing any JavaScript operation and I want to carry out the calculation using arithmetical assignment operator, I can write it here. And then go to see giving me the remaining the result based on what we have here. So these are the how this operator look like. And before we round it up here now, so let me do this and one more example on this on our calculation. But I'm going to create another function on this place. That's why I'm going to another button. I'm just add it there just to perform that arithmetical assignment operator here now. That is just it, to perform arithmetical assignment operator. So I do. So here now, I'm going to name it get get okay. I'll call it then I'm going to do plus. Okay, I say plus equal operator, and I say plus equal. I say plus equal. That's the function I'm going to create now. Okay, so I can return back here again. I'll now return to this and create a new function called function get plus equal here. Yeah, abi good. So now I will do this content for the same thing we have been doing before here. Okay, that is it now. So this time around now, this is going to be what? Plus equal. That is it. Oh, plus equal now. So that means whatever in num2 will be added to the so in this case again, I don't need this result. What I just need is what is num1, num1, because num1 is the variable on the left side there now. Can you see? So which means that okay, I will even though remove this equal sign here. That is it now. And this place, this is going to be what? Num1 here now. You get it now. That is it. This is going to be num1 again in the output. So that means I just need to enter two different variables here, two different values. So I save this, I also save this. So here now, return back to here. You get now. Whatever result I see here is going to be so when I come down here now, I say this is going to be 3. Okay, I want to use 3. I say this is going to be 3. Okay, this is going to be okay. This is going to be 3 and this is going to be 5 here now. And I say plus equal here. Oh, that'll be error. That should be error here. Okay. Okay. So that should be coming from here now. That's coming from here. Because this casting, okay, let me stop casting it. Maybe I want to say string here now. Okay now, so plus equal here now. I say num1. You get it now. I say num1. Maybe I want to display it. The value of num1. Okay. How you document or write? Good. How did you document or write here? Okay. I think this will be best way now. Okay, 10 minutes. That's too long. Okay, so here now I'll say document or write. Now initially I want to display value of num1 before system perform the calculation. I'll say num1 here. So I say num1 is here now. Okay, so now that's before calculation. So here now after calculation, num1 is, I say after calculation num1 is before calculation num1 is before calculation. Good. So I want to see the value of num1 before calculation, after inputting and after calculation. I want to see whether this num2 actually add to the num1 and the num1 content change. So back to what? To here now again. This page refresh. Now I make my num1 to be 5, num2 to be what? To be 9. Okay, good. So here now I click on what? On this. You can see that it change. Before calculation, num1 is 5. But after calculation, the num1 is now changed to what? 5 and 9, because system is already what? Concatenate them all together here. That's why we get this. So maybe even though if I now say what? I want to now convert them to what? To normal integer, is possible. So for me to convert to normal integer, what I need to do here to put what? Password, pass int here now to cover this complete sentence here. So instead of adding to that, pass int value will be here, okay? And here too, I'm going to also have for passing what? Value what will be here. I don't want you to lose this because the battery is slow. So that's it now. And let me give space here and keep space here. So if I return backward here now, this is going to be 7 and this is going to be what? 90. Okay, and when I now click on what? This, you see, that means the content of num1 is already changed to 97. It's no longer 7 again, and that is it. Maybe I call it what? 60 here, and I call this one 60. I call it what? 50 here again, and I click on this again. You see, content has changed. So that is an example of how we use what we call what? The arithmetical assignment operator here now. Hello? You said what? So I think we are going to stop from here for today now. So by the grace of God, the next class will be able to be comparison operator, because this one needs the fresh brain. So that's where we are going to stop for today. So thank you for your time now, sir.